Hi there, these comments are for SD, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the TOEFL online course called the 7-Step System to Pass the TOEFL iBT. And thank you for your comments. And I got to tell you, I'm amazed at how much effort you put into the email that you sent me. Just by the nature of how you wrote this indicates a very high level of English proficiency. So your score right now I think is 97, and I'm going to go over your email message bit by bit, and I also will take a look at your 2 different TOEFL score reports that you emailed to me and try to give you some information to help you. So you said, I'm very pleased to be one of your STELT students for 2 weeks. Thank you very much for your organized, systematic, and totally beneficial 7-step system. You understand it. So yeah, my 7-step system is designed to help improve your academic English language proficiency. So as you keep studying in those 7 different areas, you will become stronger with your academic English, and ultimately your TOEFL score will become better. So you say... You say, my deadline for TOEFL is the 20th of December. I regret for not meeting you in your 7-step 3 or 5 months ago. Nonetheless, it's never too late to mend. You have attached 2 score reports so I can see your real exam performance by evaluating part by part. So you say, I would be grateful if you could analyze my 2 reports, each part separately. After getting the second score report, I got frustrated to only improve 1 point after 3 months. Even though I know it's very hard to increase points above 95, I did not expect 97. I understand where you're coming from. You worked hard, and you didn't get the improvement you're looking for. So what's interesting is you actually did some analysis on your own of why you didn't get over 100. So let's see what you have to say. You say, in the reading section, I got really excited and my mind was under stress of not getting over 100, so I could not concentrate on the passages and the questions. I understood all the content, main points, and supporting points, but in some of the passages I spent more time and quickly answered some of the questions, which caused me to get 26, not 28. I believe the reading section is my strongest part. Okay. You say, in the listening passage, I also grasp most of the gist of the passages. However, in some detailed questions, I realized that I've missed that part, so I had made some answers up. Besides, I've also realized that while I was taking listening notes, I missed some details from the listening. So it looks like here you're having some trouble with some of the details and the facts from the passages. You say, for the speaking part, obviously my weakest side. After I started your courses and recording some speaking exercises, I realized my pronunciation and delivery was not as good as you want to say here, supposed ED. You say, in the independent questions, I make extra hesitations and use only basic words, not comprehensive and shining words. Even though I can achieve it, good language use in the writing part, despite the time constraint, I easily get distracted and precipitate to respond. In the integrated parts, I estimate I also missed some of the most important points, or I cannot explain all the main points explicitly. So, you understand what some of your difficulties are. The next one you say, when it comes to the writing section, my 2 writing scores are both 25. However, if you examine my reports, my 2 writing tasks are completely reversed. In the first one, my integrated task level is good, so you got 4.0 to 5, and your independent task level is fair, 2.5 to 3.5. In contrast, my second integrated writing task level is fair, 2.5 to 3.5, and the independent one is good, 4.5 to 5.0. In my last exam, you say, I want to make both of them good at the same time. Yes, I see what you're saying. You say, okay, I would be delighted if you could review my 2 school reports as well as my personal assessments about the scores. You can also check about my stealth practice results. Consequently, what should I do in the following days to achieve my iBT goal of 108? Wow, I remember you talking to me before on this. So you want to get 28 on the reading, 26 on the listening, 26 on the speaking, and 28 on the writing. Shall I go to your 30-day study plan or specifically focus on some parts or do other types of exercises and practices, or maybe take full-length practice tests? I would recommend, I would say for sure, take at least one full-length iBT practice test before you take your next TOEFL exam, so you can go through the test in its entirety and you can get some feedback as to what your weak points are. Now, it takes about 3 or 4 days to review that test, so you probably want to take that full-length test, I'm guessing right around maybe December 10th, maybe December 11th or so, and then that gives us enough time to score all 6 of your speaking tasks and then 2 of your writing tasks. You can find my full-length practice test, by the way, in the 8th section of my course. Alright, so let's take a look at your test in July first. So you had 25 on the reading, you had 23 on the listening, 23 on the speaking, you had 25 on the writing. So let's take a look in the reading area. You know, there's not really that many weaknesses. I mean, you have a good command of academic vocabulary and grammar. You can understand and connect information, make appropriate inferences, synthesize ideas. You can recognize how the reading passages are organized. Even when it's conceptually dense material, you can also abstract major ideas from a text, even when the text is conceptually dense. My main advice right now is it looks like you are very strong in the reading, and the best way I can help you, because you already seem to have really good iBT test-taking strategies, the main thing I can help you with is increasing your reading speed, and that gives you more time. You can spend more time answering questions and less time reading the passages. So I strongly encourage you to go through my reading practice test. Now, I don't say this for everybody, but because you want to get such a high score on the TOEFL, I recommend that you set a goal in my course. I don't care how you do it, but make this happen. Try to get to a minimum of 350 words per minute with 80% comprehension. That means you have to get all the way to my very last reading practice test. You can read the 350 words in 60 seconds. You can answer the 7 questions at the end and score 80. So concentrate on that. Other than that, that's probably my main suggestion for the reading, is to just build that reading speed. Okay, let's take a look at your listening. So the listening is 23. You want to do a little bit better there. Okay, so here you scored high. So it says you understand main ideas and important details. You can distinguish more important ideas from less important ones. You can recognize how pieces of information are connected. You did that also in the reading, by the way. You can understand many different ways that speakers use language. And you can even synthesize information, right? So the main thing for you is you said that your main problem you believe was details, right? It's not saying that here. But I'm guessing based on your own analysis, you're having some problems with details. So I would recommend, I'm assuming you can probably go through all of my listening practice tests and do well on those. I would suggest maybe spend some time at npr.org, nationalpublicradio.org. And that gives you more fairly complicated listening materials. You can also watch Discovery. So if you're watching TV, pay attention to science-type programs and focus on the main and the most important supporting points, and try to practice taking notes at both the npr.org and also Discovery TV if you have television. That would be my recommendations for the listening area. Speaking, you're not doing so well here. We need a lot more work there. Whatever you do, make sure you post one speaking practice test every day that you're one of my students. And that gives me a chance to evaluate. Actually, Jacob is my TOEFL speaking specialist. He will listen to your speaking practice test and give you some comments. So I would also recommend working on your pronunciation a little bit, because if you take a look at all of your speaking, you're fair. You're not doing well in those areas. It says your speech is mostly clear with only occasional errors. It says grammar and vocabulary are somewhat limited and include minor errors. That's not good. So you definitely don't want to do that. So you have to improve your grammar and your vocabulary. So something you can do at my course is you've demonstrated that you can understand complicated grammar and vocabulary in the reading and the listening aspects of the TOEFL exam, right? So you know you can do it, but you're having more trouble using this when you're speaking. So what you can do is maybe when you're doing some of your speaking practice tests, your independent and integrated speaking practice tests at my site, maybe 5 or 6 of these, I want you to write the whole thing out. Write it out. That means before you record your speech and let Jacob listen to it, you're gonna type it or write it all out. Practice it several times. Make sure you're using both basic and advanced grammar. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go to my grammar lesson number 2. And you also want to make sure you're using both basic and advanced vocabulary. And of course, the basic vocabulary you will find in my vocabulary lesson number 3, and the more advanced vocabulary you will get is in my vocabulary lessons number 4, 5, and 6. But you have to not just listen, recognize it in reading and listening, but your challenge now is to start using the grammar and the vocabulary. It looks like when you're speaking about campus situations, it says you are sometimes missing information, or you include inaccuracies. Again, you have limitations of grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, which cause difficulty. So that's why you want to keep practicing in the pronunciation area in my course. You go through all of those lessons, even read with me out loud. It's called tracking, especially in the pronunciation areas. When you get to those reading passages at the end of each lesson, I want you to read those academic passages with me out loud. And maybe even, if you want to practice the integrated speaking, you can listen to me read the passage, you can take down some notes, and then you can practice orally summarizing the passage. And then you can check the reading passage to see if you left any information out. So I think that would also be good for you. When you're speaking about academic course content, actually you do better here. Your speech is clear and easy. It says, but you have some problems with pronunciation and intonation. And it says sometimes that your ideas are not fully developed. So I think you can definitely keep working at my website in that area. Writing, it looks like you did on the reading and the listening, the integrated writing here, you said it says slight imprecision in your summary of some of the main points, and our use of English is an occasionally ungrammatical or unclear. Imprecision means that there were some things that you wrote about that were inaccurate. You did not paraphrase the information correctly. You might have even left out some important idea in there. So you have to work a little bit more on your summarizing. Make sure you don't change the meaning of anything. Now, of course, at my website, I have over 43 integrated writing practice tests for you right now that you can practice. And you can keep doing those. Remember my rules. You can do 1 per day. And I would say for you, forget the easy, forget the medium, and start focusing on the difficult integrated writing practice tests. They are much more difficult than the actual TOEFL exam, and it's going to really push you academically. So if you can you'll score lower on my difficult integrated writing practice test, but once you get to the TOEFL, it'll be a lot easier for you. That would be my advice in that area. Writing based on knowledge and experience. It says here, you expressed ideas with reasons, examples, and details, but it says you didn't have enough specific support or development for your main point. So you didn't develop ideas as much as you could. It also says that you had some trouble organizing your essay, and you had some grammar problems. Now, we've seen the grammar problems in both the speaking and the writing areas. Am I right? Based on the score report. So you also want to make sure that you go through my grammar lesson number 7. That will take you to a website. At that website, focus in the writing and the grammar areas of the website. And when you're doing the practice exercises, write down the correct versions of those sentences. Write them down in a journal so you can feel the grammar. Because that's college level writing. That website is designed to prepare students for undergraduate and graduate study, students who need to take composition classes. Alright, so those are my comments so far. And you might want to play this video one more time and just take down some notes. And I'm just kind of giving you some ideas here. Now let's take a look at your next score report, October of this year. So it looks like you went from here, you went from 96, and then on the one that you took after that, 3 months later, you got 97. So basically, you didn't do that much better, right? But you got to do better on the speaking area. I mean, let's face it here. You need to get at least 6 points, 5 or 6 points higher in this area. So reading is pretty much the same as it was before. It looks like listening was a little bit higher. Speaking, basically about the same as you did before. So my comments of what I said on your previous score report, I think, still apply. And then the writing area, it's interesting that you switched your scores on this one. So on this one, you had 2.5 to 3.5. It says the lecture, it says your response indicates weaknesses such as you missed an important point. So what this tells me is in the previous one, maybe the independent writing task was a question that you just couldn't identify very much with, and that's why you scored lower, and you did much better on the integrated writing practice test in the previous one. On this one, you were able to identify better with the independent writing task, but maybe the integrated writing task was a little bit complex and you couldn't quite catch maybe one of the ideas that you listened to, and that caused you to score lower there. So anyway, in the conclusion of this video, going back to your questions, I'm going to say I would focus on my 30-day study plan, and to get the best benefit out of my course, I would encourage you to emphasize more in the writing and the speaking areas of my course. You want to really hit the pronunciation section of my course really hard over the next few weeks. Like I said, go through the videos, read out loud with me. Make sure you record all the homework exercises over at my Better TOEFL Scores Voxy Pop Talk group. And then also, you want to complete the pre-tests so Jacob can listen to those and give you comments on those if you haven't done that already. Remember, post one speaking practice test every day, and my recommendation was, and obviously you can't do this on the TOEFL, but this is going to be useful for you right now. I'm asking you to take 5 or 6 of those independent and integrated writing practice tests and write them out. Write the whole thing out, really pay attention to your grammar and your vocabulary, and then practice it a few times, and then record it for Jacob. Hopefully, you will get 30 out of 30 on that. If you do that a few times, it makes you a little more conscious of how to use what we call basic and advanced grammar and vocabulary. So obviously, to improve your vocabulary, you have to build in the vocabulary lessons, especially lesson number 4, 5, and 6. And to help you with the grammar, like I said before, grammar lesson number 1 is a great lesson. Also, grammar lesson number 7 is going to help build, I think, your editing. It's going to help you minimize the number of errors that you're making. Now, to help you with both the writing and the speaking areas, you've probably seen it, but I think it's speaking lesson number 7, it's writing lesson number 8. It's how to make your speaking and your writing more coherent. There are really 2 basic things. Obviously, you want to have paragraph unity, but you also want to make sure there's 4 specific things you can do that can organize your speaking and writing more coherently. Make sure you're utilizing the techniques I teach you in that. It's a PDF file. Remember that you're really at the top end here. You're somebody who wants to get over 100, which is very rare, and it takes an extremely high level of English. Now, between now and when you take the test, use English as much as you can, not just studying in my course, but watch TV, listen to the radio, talk to people in English as much as you can, and little by little, you will begin to make those improvements. So, anyway, those will be my comments right now. And anyway, you got 19 days before you take the TOEFL test again. And like I said earlier in the video, you probably want to take at least 1 or maybe 2 full-length TOEFL iBT practice tests so you can get used to the structure of the test again. You can get some feedback from me on your progress, and then you'll feel hopefully more confident when you take the actual TOEFL. Remember, when you're doing my integrated writing practice test, only focus on the ones in either the medium or the difficult areas. Don't do the easy ones. That's going to be too easy based on your goals. Alright, anyway, thank you very much. I hope in this video I've given you some good information. And good luck to you when you take the TOEFL test on the 20th.